All right, quickly, I want to equip you with some things. First, I want to show you the first two reports published by the Economic Forum. I urge you to read them cover to cover. Send them to your local, state, and national representatives. I can guarantee you that the proposals and organizations mentioned in these documents will be openly discussed by the lawmakers in the coming months and years. The target date for everything is 2030. They have 10 years, but the push is about to go into overdrive because they have the right conditions. Let me read from page 3 of the first report. Their two top goals in the effort to shift from capitalism to National Socialism is to link climate catastrophe to private businesses and then identify which industries need, quote, transformation. In short, if you own a business that is deemed linked to nature or the climate, what business isn't linked to nature? I'll show you how broad that is in a second. Then you're going to be brought under the government's heel. They make it quite clear that their aim is to, quote, catalyze a public-private momentum in 2020. Now, I hate to bring up another World War II reference, but this is what Hitler did with privately owned businesses in Germany. They didn't take the outright ownership like the Soviets did. They just said, you can keep your company, but you got to share the wealth and you're going to produce exactly what we do and we are running it. That's National Socialism. I don't know what they're going to call this one, but that's what it is. In 2015, the UN created the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, or TCFD. They're part of the UN's Environment Program Finance Initiative, whose goal is to press Agenda 21-2030 on the banking and corporate sectors. The TCFD produces reports to companies and banks that give crazy metrics on how at risk their businesses is to climate change. Well, have you seen all of the commercials lately for the companies that are pledging to go net zero emissions? We're going to do it. Over 170 global companies have already jumped on this bandwagon. And the origin is all traced back to Agenda 2030 and the UN task force like TCFD. But now this has not been deemed as enough. Page 19 of the Great Reset's first report outlines how the UN will soon be weaponized to govern private businesses. They plan on doing it by integrating the TCFD into government. I kid you not. The TCFD will stop being just an organization that provides data and will move to being a big government auditor on businesses that, quote, require assessment and disclosure of potential financial impacts. Disclosures are made in audited public annual financing filings under the laws of jurisdictions under which they operate, subject to the rigorous government processes. Wow, how does that make you feel? Hey, Joel, you file your taxes this year? No, not yet. I'm still working on my annual climate disclosures to the UN. There's no way in hell any of us are going to do that. But most of us won't have any choice. On the same page, they are quick to mention, quote, insurance premium increases due to settlements from pollution. You see where they're going? A mile away, failure to comply, lose your insurance, lose your certifications. Remember, you're in a partnership. Remember when I told you that it was vague on which private businesses will be brought under the government's boot? Well, read page 8. These are the industries they specify. Businesses that depend on nature for operations, supply chain, real estate asset values, physical security, and business continuity. That right there is so open and yet so vague that they could literally fit any company they want to. Points 2 and 3 are basically the same. They state that any time businesses might have a negative consequence from climate change, they can be subjugated under government regulation. These were added to make sure that they got everyone else that they might have missed. They claim that climate change is a catastrophic calamity that will affect everyone everywhere, and no one will be exempt from this. The Great Reset, in their second report that outlined their vision of what this new world might look like, they want to, quote, reduce the footprint of agriculture and fishing and push compact development in both existing cities and new cities. This includes, quote, policy innovation such as spatial and land use master planning and transit-oriented development, as well as shifting incentives away from suburban-style living, designing strategically dense built areas. They want to buy up all the farmland. Push people into large metropolises with giant high-rises. Everything's digitized, tracked, recorded. Privacy, personal liberty, thing of the past. Private property, thing of the past. You won't matter. The collective is your responsibility, and the state will be your master. What does it sound like? It's almost Brave New World to the letter. But, we just want people to be happy. I mean, are you feeling down? Take some soma. I mean, feel better again. If I remember right, Brave New World doesn't exactly end well. It ends in death. And that's exactly how socialism works every single time it's tried, whether it's national or global. Always ends up the same way. I say we stand together and fight for freedom.